today's session is about question paper setting, blueprint, internal assessment. My dear teacher, this is a very important session, okay? But it will look very simple, but it is something very important as a teacher. Okay, so now, before we go into question paper setting, what is a question paper? What is a question paper? Yes, teachers, what is a question paper? Okay, now question paper, everyone knows it is a document containing questions and it is administered or done in the examination all by the students or the candidates. Okay, and why is the question paper set? A question paper is most commonly used tool. Okay, yesterday I told you it is a summative assessment. In summative assessment, what do we do? The tool is we conduct exams. Okay, after teaching all the concept. So it is periodical, semester wise or year wise. Okay, so now, dear teachers, I just request you all to have a pen and paper. In DAV, we have a common question paper. Like I am a maths teacher, I just teach whatever is there in the syllabus. Okay, so it is just like, it's a very good thing. Actually, in DAV, we don't have our own papers. It is just like a board exam, right? Board exam, what do? We train the children. The question paper is set by someone else and our students take up the challenge. So to that extent, we train our students. Okay. So in DAV, we have a common question paper. So definitely you also will be a question paper setter one day. Okay. So now, what are the features of a good question paper? Features of the good question paper. What are the features? Now, first point is something very important. It should be relevant to your syllabus, to the topic that you have covered. Okay, this is a very important objective. Students should focus on recall of only the material covered in your lesson and align well with the overall objective. Okay, next one is the question should be very clear. It should be framed very clearly in a simple language. Okay, the question should not be ambiguous or should not be vague. This simple language, when I refer, in question paper, it should be very simple. Otherwise, in your class, you can give tough questions. You can frame tough questions. You can use tough words and all that. Okay, but in the question paper, the question should be very clear. Now, third one is concise. A good question is usually a crisp and concise. That is, your question should not. Can I request you to mute your audio, please? Who has joined just now? Thank you. Okay, so question paper, yes, of course, your question paper should contain sentences, but the sentence should be crisp and it should not be lengthy, and the information required for the student should be there. Okay, now, next one, purposeful. What do you mean by purposeful? A question without a definite purpose. Like you are, I request the participant, please mute your audio. Like you are testing divisibility rule. Okay, check whether this is divisible by 9. Don't ask them, check whether it is not divisible by 9. Okay, the purpose should be there to set the questions. Now, guiding but not leading. What do you mean by that? A good question guides the leaders toward the understanding the concept in the picture. Here, in your question paper, You can use a lot of pictures also even in mathematics, but the picture should guide you correctly as to what concept you are testing. Okay, for example, you take some concepts in money chapter, you take some pictures. Those pictures should guide the candidate very clearly. Okay, now still this is something very, very important. Stimulate thinking. Why do we test? Why do we test? We test the students so that we stimulate thinking. The question, the student should think, understand the question, okay? Understand and what concept is asked. He should think and then only answer. So the question paper should have all these qualities to condense attributes of good question design. Clarity should be there, reliability should be there, validity should be there, authenticity and fairness. All this, we should do justice for our students. Now, apart from these features, certain things, do's and don'ts are there. Can anyone speak out what will be the do's while setting a question paper? I have covered few points, but still, can anyone tell me?
The setting question paper should be based on Bloom's taxonomy.
Okay. What do you mean by that? We are dealing students from classes 1 to 5. That means the age group ranging from 5 to maximum 11. So how should we test the students? That is something very important. Yes. Can anyone tell me the do's? What should be done while setting a question paper? Yes, anyone can speak out? Just now I
The
covered.
heading should be clear.
Okay.
So that they can easily understand.
Okay.
It should be approachable by all level of students.
All types of learners, like the slow learners, achievers.
Exactly. A class will consist of heterogeneous students where we have the toppers, we have the average student, we have the low achievers. Okay, we should have all this in mind and set the question paper. That is very, very important. Yes, good. Anything else? Anything else, my dear teachers? I'm sure most of you are seasoned teachers. Definitely you can add on some points. It's just from my experience of my journey. I'm just sharing it. That is all. Even you all can add on some points. Of course, there are some aspiring new teachers. I think they also should be empowered with this session. Yes, anything else? Okay. So now, my dear teachers, I would request you all to please note down something very, very important. Now, what are the do's, points to ponder while setting a question paper? Keep in mind their class and syllabus. That is very, very, very important. For example, we have fraction chapter right from class 3. Yes, teachers, do you agree?
Yes, ma'am.
So we have fraction chapter right from class 3, 4, and 5. It is a graded concept. Only thing is there is a little bit of difference. We keep on adding when they go to the higher class. Okay, please consider that in mind. Next one, select appropriate questions. This is something very, very important. Appropriate to the student's level, the child's level, to the class level. Here, use simple language. Okay. Yes, you can use tough language, hard words, and all that in your regular classes when you're doing revision, when you're conducting class tests and all that. But in the exam, use simple language so that they understand. Already I told you, the students have math phobia. Not only the students, even the parents. They just tension the students also. They said tomorrow's maths exam, you need to sit, study, learn, sit. You have to work out so many sums and all that. Even the parents are test. I think to remove that phobia, I think we need to follow all these do's and don'ts also. Last point is make questions very clear. Okay, very clear. Now, don'ts. Never test from the next level. Do you agree, teachers?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, never test from, like you are setting a paper for first standard, see that it is only to their level. Don't test from second standard level, though it is a graded concept. Okay, you're taking setting a paper for class 4, don't test from class 5. Though they might know, you can do it in class, extra problems, do it in class. Never test them. Okay, no ambiguity in questions. What do you mean by that?
Confused state. No
Yes.
confused state.
The question in the sentences are not framed properly, ambiguous. Okay, and also some questions where you have multiple answers. For example, in MCQs. Okay, don't give 2, 3 answers. For example, A answer is also correct, B option is also correct, and you say the 4th option that you are given is A and B correct. Okay, like that. Next point is do not include many sub-questions. This is very important. Why I tell this? Because from my experience, I have seen even the toppers, they are just in a hurry to finish the paper. For example, if question number 10 has sub-questions A, B, C, these students tend to finish very fast, or they just by carelessness, they leave one particular question. For example, they do A and B, they leave C. Okay, at times there are question papers where the teacher has given 4 sub-questions. 5th question has 5A, 5B, 5C, 5D. Okay, don't include many sub-questions because we are dealing with primary students. Okay, 4th point is never give multiple answers for a question. This is what I was referring when I was talking about the second point. Multiple answers. Okay, A option, C option, both are correct. Let us not confuse the students with so many answers. Now, apart from this, my dear teachers, I've just noted down some extra points. Okay, please, when I'm just reading out, please note down the important points. Now, this paper setting is a very important thing. Okay, I know setting a concise, thorough, fair question paper for any exam, whether it is a test or final exam, it is really a daunting task. Okay, now paper setter. This is regarding the question paper setting. I am just giving a few tips for the paper setters. Okay, now please note down. Paper setter should adhere to the weightage. That is, I'll be sharing that slide regarding the weightage. That is the marks allotted per topic. Okay, syllabus. This is very, very important. Need to adhere to the syllabus. Make sure there are no errors in your question paper. Okay, when you're doing MCQ, there is error in the question paper. Can you, teachers, can you just speak out what happens when there is an error in the question paper? Just think in terms of child's perspective. What happens if there is error in the question paper? Can anyone speak out? Teachers?
They'll get panic, ma'am.
Yes. What does it do then? Yes, they get panic. What is it? What does it create? It makes the child confused. He thinks, oh, did I learn properly? Is the answer like this? Is the question correct? Okay. So let us not give room for all that. Okay. So make sure there are no errors and no repetition of questions. Yes, teachers, no repetition of all these. I am giving tips as a paper setup. Okay. Now the paper is set. You have prepared this question paper. You have seen regarding the questions, concepts, syllabus, everything you have just followed, right? Okay. What should you do now? Now it is before you give it for printing. What should you do? As teachers, what should you do?
We can solve by ourselves and check it out whether any repetition or any all other answers can be right or not. We can check once before giving to the printout.
Yes, yes, that is exactly very, very important. Moderate checking of question paper. Okay. Now, my dear teachers, though I have listed only 4 don'ts here, some practical thing which I had observed, I've just added here. I'll just read out. I know you all are technically sound. Okay. You can just do wonders in technology. Please don't Google questions and paste in the question papers. Please don't Google the question and paste in the question papers. Instead, what should you do, my dear teachers? Yes, can anyone speak out? What should you do? Teachers, anyone please. I want you to please take up this question. What should you do?
We should prepare the question paper inside the syllabus,
No, that is
inside the book.
yes, that and all is right. I said you should not Google the question and paste in the question paper. Instead, what should you do?
Inside the book, from the book.
Yes, exactly. You need to refer different books. Okay. Please go to the library, take all the specimen copies or any other reference books, go through the chapter, go through the questions and select the questions. Please don't Google and paste it. Okay, refer the questions. My dear teachers, I would say that is an art. That is an art. You will love when you go through so many questions. Okay, now, next thing is appropriate pictures. Choose appropriate pictures. Give now your question paper consists of questions based on understanding, application, okay, all that. So now give importance to application oriented questions. What do I refer, my dear teachers? What am I referring to? Give importance to application oriented questions. What am I referring to?
Real life situations, ma'am.
Yes, exactly. So how do I put it in form of question?
With the simple words and the day-to-day life. Like
Yes.
that.
So day-to-day life situations, I ask in the form of questions. So I put it in the form of word problems. Okay. Here, I would say our students have difficulty in reading. When we put a question directly, definitely they will answer well. Whereas when we put it in the form of sentence, like when I say 2 plus 5, what is 2 plus 5, they will answer. When I put it in the form of sentence, like what should be added to 2 to get 7? Okay, so put it in the form of sentences, right? So application, here I was talking about the sentences. Now, as maths teachers, my dear teachers, what should we do in the class to make the students understand the application questions? What should we do in the classroom?
Ma'am, questions related around the class or around us.
No, ma. Yes, you can give all those examples and you can test. But to improve their reading level, what should we do in the class? How can a child read big sentences in the question paper and answer? How can he do that? My dear teachers, I would say you need to give them lot of reading practice. Okay. Now we have in DAV, now we have in-house publications. We have lovely readers, right from class 1 to class 5 mathematics readers. We have lovely questions where you need to ask the students to read out the question loudly. Like for example, you're starting exercise in addition. Ask one child to read out that application problem loudly in the class, so that all the students will listen to the question and then they will identify whether it is addition problem or subtraction problem or multiplication or division. Okay, don't make them, and one more request is please don't make them thorough with like some keywords. Total means addition. Okay, all those keywords. Yes, of course, we have to train them, but we have to give a lot of practice in the class for the students to read those questions in the question paper and answer. Did you understand, teachers? Yes?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now, same way, now I am talking about statement problems. Here, what language? How will I set the paper? How will I use the language? Yes? The language, the sentences should be simple and clear.
Simple.
Yes, simple sentences. Okay, according to their level. First standard you will use according to the level. Fifth standard you will use according to their level. Okay, and very important is never take questions from last year's paper. Of course, you can refer previous year's papers. You can refer, but don't just pick out the question from last year's paper and just use different numbers and all that. Okay, even the students have access. They also get from previous batch and all that. So let us not test from the previous question paper. We can refer, of course, we can refer. Okay, now after setting the paper, you need to scrutinize well. Okay, then I already covered that we need not include many sub questions. Okay, now one more important point is, since we are teachers handling in primary, okay, when we set a paper, especially for class 1, 2, and 3, the students, they answer in the same question paper. So what should we do? Yes, teachers, what should we do? They're going to answer in the same question paper. Only 4 and 5 will answer in the separate sheets. What should we do?
Enough space should be given, ma'am, for them to
Very
work
good.
on those sums.
That is very, very important. Enough space. So once you set the paper, you see whether enough space is given for the student to answer. Okay. And definitely when we are typing the paper, we take care of the font size. Okay. And I told you, maths is a subject where many questions the students, they have to apply and answer. That is why all the students are tensed before maths exam, because we don't test anything from the classwork or from the reader. We just change the question, we change the different way. That is why it is a very competitive subject, even in the long run. It is a core subject. Why mathematics is a core subject? It is a subject where students have to apply. Okay, so see that you give simple questions and also HOTS. What do you mean by HOTS?
Important questions.
Higher order thinking, ma'am.
Higher order thinking questions.
Thinking skills.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Don't think that the entire paper you should have HOTS. Okay. As I already told you, it is a heterogeneous class where we have toppers, we have average students and low achievers. Okay. These HOTS are for which category students?
Quick learners, ma'am, and extraordinary students, those who can think better than others.
Yes. Okay. So at times, my dear teachers, you give hot questions, even the low achievers, at times they answer well. At times they answer well. Okay. So I will just tell you as to what percentage of hot questions and all that. Okay. Now, since we are talking about do's and don'ts, anyone can just condense at least 5 points which are necessary for setting a question paper. Anyone, teachers? 5 points quickly. I've covered so many points. Can anyone tell? Yes, teachers, any 5
Yes, ma'am.
points? Yes,
Yes,
yes.
Question
ma'am.
should be in the
While
form of
setting the
sentence.
paper,
Yes, ma'am.
while setting the paper, we have to keep in mind for which class we are setting the paper, and we have to be very particular with the syllabus also.
Syllabus, yes.
Yeah, and we have to pay importance to the weightage of the chapters,
Okay.
and there should not be any repetition in the question.
Okay.
And we have to use very simple language so that the students can easily understand the question and they can start doing it.
Yes, exactly. Okay.
Font
And
size,
yes,
spelling mistakes
Yes,
should not be
anyone,
there.
anyone else? Yes, can add on, please.
Ma'am,
We have to
picture
check.
should be clear, ma'am.
Okay.
We have to check whether
Take
the child
questions
is
from
able
previous
to
year.
complete the question within the time.
Okay.
Enough space should be given to
Very good.
answers.
Yes, very good.
Reading practice.
Reading practice.
Ask
Very
them to
important.
read the questions clearly
Why? Why should they give a lot of reading practice? How is it useful
so
in the
that they
exam?
can question.
Yes.
so that they can solve the application oriented questions when we are giving that in the form of word problems.
Yes, exactly. Okay.
Appropriate pictures.
Yes, good. Then okay, can anyone say don'ts? Can anyone say the don'ts? What should not be followed? What should not be done in the exam paper?
Should not be too tricky.
Yes, it should not be too tricky. That's very important. Tricky questions can be done in class.
They
Right,
will lose
teachers?
their confidence level.
Yes, exactly. There is a
Never give
difference.
multiple answers
You can
for a
give
question.
you can give tricky questions in class. Okay. Tricky questions are different from HOTS. Do you agree, teachers?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Okay. Anything else? Yes. Okay. So good teachers, you were with me and you are answering also well. Similarly, in the class also, don't keep just teaching. Keep questioning them. Pose a question, let them answer. Like how I told you yesterday, let them answer. Even if they're wrong, don't say wrong. Okay. Say yes and say let's find out and have a good argument in the class and come to conclusions. Okay. Now, before I start the next topic, just one activity. Okay, teachers? Can you find out? See the pattern and find the missing. First one is
40.
okay. Next one.
57, 57,
Yes. How did you get it? One who answered that it is 40. How did you get it?
9 into 4.
Because 9 plus 4, 13. By adding 13 with 27.
Adding?
9 plus 4, 13, ma'am. Adding the 13 with the 27.
Anyone else has got any other? I request the
Ma'am, is it
participants.
38 and 49?
I request the audience to mute the audio, please, those are not answering. Yes, thank you. Yes, ma.
9 4 36 plus 4 equal to 40.
Okay, so next one.
11 into 6, 66 plus 6 equal to 72.
Yes. Is it correct, teachers? Yes, do you agree with the answer?
No, ma'am.
No. Okay, so what is the answer then?
57.
Is it 38 and 49?
How did you get 67?
By adding 17 to the 40.
Okay. Anyone else has got any other answer? Yes, teachers, anyone else has got any other answer?
$68, ma'am.
Now, teacher, see here. 6 into 1, 6. Add this number, 7. Got it? Now here, 7 into 2, 14. 14 plus 2, 16. Okay. Similarly here, 8 3s are
24
24 plus this number,
plus 3, 27.
27.
9 4s are
36 plus 4, 40.
40. 11 6 are
66 plus 6,
Plus
72.
6, 72.
yes, exactly. Okay. Okay. So now, teachers, we have set the question paper. Okay. We have set the question paper. We have followed all this. Right? But still at times, teachers go wrong. After the print or in the exam, we find some mistakes. Okay. So now I'm just sharing 1 or 2 errors which were there in some question papers. So I am just asking you to find out what was that error. Okay. Now, just see this question. First one. What is error in this question? What is the error? 12 midnight in 24-hour clock is written as dash in 12-hour clock.
0, 0.
No, I'm not asking the answer. Some error is there in this particular question. What is the error? Yes, teachers, anyone? Anyone, teachers? Now the question says 12 midnight in 24-hour clock.
24 hours.
In 24-hour clock, then why are you saying again in 12-hour clock? Did you get it?
Yes, ma'am. 24 hours clock. Ma'am.
Yes, it should
Yes,
be
ma'am.
24-hour clock.
24
Why
hour
again
clock.
12-hour clock? Okay. Now, see this question. Prepare a bill for the given rate chart in Mahaveer store. Mr. Shastri purchased 3 toothpaste, 1 cornflakes, 5 detergents, 2 biscuits, and 2 cakes. And these are the items. What is the error in this question?
Ma'am, he purchased 3 toothpaste, ma'am. 3 toothpaste. But here one, the rate were Read per item is given, ma'am.
Okay. Oh, that is the error.
Yes, ma'am.
No,
Toothbrush is
they have given.
Yes.
Brush is given there instead of
See, you
paste.
give per item, I can calculate for 3. That is not an
Yes.
issue.
Yes,
What
ma'am.
is the error
Instead of
here?
Instead
Toothpaste.
of toothpaste, it's given
Ah,
as
And a brush
toothbrush.
instead.
Yes, you
The
give for
item.
brush and you ask
Quantity
for
column is
paste.
missing, no?
Toothpaste.
Okay, so now there is error in this particular question. Now, come to this particular question. If 4 into 226 is 904, can you see the question? Teachers, can you see the question?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
So what is the error here?
Ma'am, instead of 226, they have given us 206 minus.
Option B.
Option B. Okay, there is an error here in the options given. Okay, my dear teachers, anyone can tell me any other question where there is error or something like that you have experienced? This particular question, there is no option at all, right? Yes, teachers? Can you understand the errors in the question? In the question paper?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, now we are moving on to a very important part of the question paper, that is pattern of the question paper. Okay, now my dear teachers, the pattern of the question paper should be this. Okay, now it should be fill objective type of questions. Now this objective type of questions carries 32% of the total marks. So it should be in the form of fill in the blanks, MCQs, true or false, or match the following. Okay. Now here you need to apply all the do's whenever you're setting a paper, whether it is in the form of fill in the blanks, MCQs and all that. Here I would say MCQs, please stick on to one particular answer. There should not be any multiple answers. For example, A option also is correct, B also option is also correct, and you say A and B, and the fourth option is A, B, both A and B. Okay, don't give such type of questions. Let the child think directly and answer. Okay. Again, have that in mind. We are dealing with students ranging from 5 to maximum 10 or 11. Okay. Now here, my dear teachers, match the following. Everyone, most of you give match the following, right? That is also good. But don't mix up all the concepts in match the following. Please note down, teachers. Don't take one concept from large numbers, one from factor, one from fraction, all that. You need to take only one concept. For example, you want to test only from factors and multiples. Take 5 questions from factors and multiples and put it in the form of match the following. Did you get my point? Teacher, did you understand?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
All
Yes,
the 5 questions should be related to
ma'am. One concept.
One
Yes.
particular concept.
Understood, ma'am.
Whether it is fraction or whether it is factors and multiples, whether it is large numbers, whatever it is based on your portion, see that match the following consists of one particular concept. Don't paste all different concepts. Is it clear, teachers?
Clear, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, very short answers. What do you mean by a very short answers in mathematics? It can be 1 mark question or 2 mark questions. Short answers is 3 mark questions and long answer is 4 mark questions. Okay. Now, pictorial, definitely a question paper should consist of pictures. You can test the learners in the form of pictures also. Use some graphs. Okay, if it is there in the portion, all that you can apply in the question paper. This pattern of the question paper is very, very important. Now here I have not drawn a particular percentage for HOTS. Don't think nowadays paper setters, you just think that paper should be very, it should consist only of hot questions. 5%. Maximum 4 to 5 marks can be hot questions, or maximum 8 marks can be hot questions. Otherwise, don't test so much. Did you understand, teachers?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you all note down the pattern of the question paper?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Okay. Now teachers, I have set the paper. I have set the paper. I have seen the pattern. I have checked everything. Okay. Along with the question paper, my dear teachers, what do we submit? I hope you all are aware. What do we
Yes, ma'am.
submit? What do
The
we
answer
submit
key.
along with the question paper?
Answer key.
Answer keys.
Yes. Answer key is very, very important. What do you mean by answer key? What do you mean by answer key? You just write down the answer and you give?
No, ma'am. We need to
Details
allocate
of
the
mark
marks for the
allotment.
steps. For this, up to this, they will get this mark. Up to the final answer, this mark for this. Like this, we have to split up the marks according to the questions.
Yes, exactly. Now listen, teachers here, like whoever is correcting your question paper or your answer paper, you just give an answer key. She should be in a position to correct the entire paper. So accordingly, you should write down the marking scheme or the answer key. The answer key consists of answers and also marks allotment as per steps. Okay. So allotment of marks, for example, it is a application problem, 4-mark question. Okay. Here you should clearly mention whether that 4-mark, how is it allotted? Can anyone tell how can we allot that 4 marks? How can we allot that 4 marks? I've allotted 4 marks for the application problem. How can I allot? Can anyone speak out?
For the for writing the statements correctly, the way we will give half mark, and for finding the operation correctly, we will give 1 more marks. And
Okay.
for doing is suppose addition for 4 digits, we give half of mark for each and every digit is correct.
Okay.
So you get 3 and half. It's totally correct means we will give 4.
Okay. Here also it's based on the class. Very good, ma'am. Yeah, good you shared it. Here also depends on class. If it's class 5, definitely allot 1 mark for statement. Okay. And identifying the concept, 1 mark. Okay. And in the answer, for the answer, 2 marks. And according to the number of steps or digits that it is involved, you allot marks. Yes, teachers, did you understand the allotment? So all
Yes,
is
ma'am.
clearly you will mention in the marking scheme. Even if it is 1 mark, how are you going to allot that 1 mark? Okay. If it's 2 marks, how are you going to allot the 2 marks? If it's an angle problem. Now, if for example, my question is construction of angles in class 5. Okay. Using a protractor. Now I'm giving construct 60-degree angle using a protractor. Okay. Now, how will I allow, and how much marks can I allot, my dear teachers? Construct an angle using a protractor. Construct 60-degree angle using a protractor. And name the angle. How many marks can I allot?
Maybe 3.
3 marks. Okay, good. Anyone else? Any other? Teachers, you can just speak out. I am also learning from you all. Yes. Anything, any other suggestion? If I want to increase the marks, what can I add? My question is very simple. Construct 60-degree angle using a protractor. And I'm allotting 3 marks. Now I want to make it 4 marks. What can I do?
What type of angle it is?
Angle name.
Very good. Name of the angle you can ask. What type of angle you can ask. You can add the parts of the angle, identify the vertex. Okay. All that also you can include. So your marking scheme should clearly mention like 2 marks. How can, if it's a 4 mark, dear teachers, how much mark can we allot for construction of the angle alone? Now the question is construct the angle and identify the type of angle. How many marks can we allot? So that we will make it very clear in the marking scheme.
We can allot 2 marks.
2 marks for construction.
Yeah,
It is a 4 mark question.
for naming, for
And 1.
Naming, okay, 1. Construction, 2 marks. Naming, 1 mark. Then type of angle, 1 mark. So whatever you want to know from the child, make it very clear in the marking scheme. For example, if X paper, question paper is given to Y, okay, she should correct very genuinely based on the marking scheme. Is that clear, teachers?
yeah, ma'am.
So what does the marking scheme consist? Yes, what does the marking scheme consist? It consists of answers and also
The
allotment
stepwise
marks
marking.
stepwise.
Stepwise.
Okay.
Yes,
Yes, allotment of marks stepwise. Okay, teachers. Now here, just one suggestion. Okay, I know you all will do wonders typing the question paper and all that. How will you submit the answer key? Will you type and submit? Yes.
Take a printout.
Take a printout. Any other suggestion anyone has? Teachers can speak out. Anyone, any other suggestion? Ma'am, I don't want to take a printout. What do you want to do then?
Take one printout and take it Xerox.
No, that is the first suggestion you said, right? What are the any other idea, any other suggestion you have? Teachers, please speak out.
Ma'am, for first and second standard, we can write the answer key in the same question paper itself. It helps the teachers.
It helps the teachers. Okay. What about
In some
three?
cases, like class test, we can write on the board.
Write on the board. That is class test, teachers. Yes, that is a class test. That is okay. If it is an examination, it's an examination, someone else is correcting the paper. You need to submit the marking scheme. Okay. Now,
We can write by own, step by step.
is it Deepika who had answered?
Yeah, ma'am.
Exactly, Deepika ma'am. I would suggest teachers to write a marking scheme manually. Don't take a printout or type it and all that. Can anyone tell me why am I suggesting you all to write it manually? Can anyone suggest? Make it, you write the answer key using your pen and paper. Why? Can anyone suggest? I have followed everything.
We can remember easily what question is what mark.
You can remember?
The marking scheme.
You can remember the marking scheme. Okay, not for that. Anything?
It gives realistic way of correcting the paper.
Exactly. Anything else?
Mistakes may not arise.
You are checking whether you have repeated any question. Yes, teachers. You are checking whether you have repeated any particular question. When you're doing it manually, you are also seeing how much time you have taken to write the marking scheme. So think in terms of child's side, how much time will he take? And we are writing the question paper, and you're also checking whether as a maths teacher, whether I've repeated any particular number. For example, often I would have used 5, often I would have used 7 or 9. Even that, when you're multiplying, you will see, oh, here also I've used the same number. There also I've used the same number. Let me change. Yes, teachers? Do you agree?
Yeah, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So very, very important thing is you need to check the marking scheme. Very, very important. So that you are checking your question paper in turn. So what are the things that you will identify when you write the marking scheme manually? Yes, teachers, can you anyone tell the points?
We
Can
can
anyone?
check for the repetition of the questions or repetition of any particular number, or
Yeah.
whether the question paper is too lengthy or not. That also we can find, ma'am.
Yes, exactly. Very, very important. Yes, teachers, do you all agree?
Yes, ma'am.
You might
Yes.
feel, yes, I can type it very fast. Yes, I can do that. But when you do like this and you submit, then you will find out all these and you can rectify in the question paper immediately. Did you understand, teachers?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now, I've set the question paper. I've done everything. I'm going to test the child, all that. Now, what are the different ways that evaluate your students' progress? Okay, here I would just like to just share some views, how to monitor your students' learning or students' progress. It is not that you need to wait till the end to conduct a test or exam. As a maths teacher, daily 1 minute paper can help you evaluate learning on a class by class. What do you mean by class basis? For example,
Their age group, it means their age group, like first standard.
not age group. For example, I have taught yesterday, I've just introduced concept in fractions. Today I said, yes, quickly, I'll give one sum, let me test. That will help you to learn, to analyze whether you have taught properly. Okay, so once you conduct a test and you analyze the child has not understood, what you can do, you can repeat that concept, right, teachers? You can repeat the concept. You can give some suggestions to improve, like he's doing it wrongly. Okay, of course, 1 minute test you cannot correct. Okay, immediately you can ask the students to exchange the notes, why he has gone wrong, whether should I repeat the concept. Yes, okay. Avoid giving unfocused, sarcastic comments. Please don't do that to the child. Why have you done this? What did you understand? Please, let us not comment all this. Yesterday, that is why I shared a very lovely video, which I was struggling also, that says, never say wrong or never say, no, it's not correct. Say yes and help the child to get the answer. Okay. Define a specific learning objective for each test. What is the objective of the test? Today, I'm conducting the test to know whether the child has understood that particular concept. Why am I conducting test? To see whether the child has understood that concept, whether it's revising every day and all that. Okay, teachers? Now, provide examples of excellent, good, and unsatisfactory work. Don't say work is unsatisfactory. Even if it's unsatisfactory, tell, okay, good, I think you can get excellent tomorrow. Okay, small test. You can say, no, I'm not. Please don't say to the child, no, I'm not happy, I've not done the test well. You say, I think you can aim higher. You can get excellent. Tomorrow, try to get a star from me. Try to get 5 stars from me. Okay, and adapt rubrics to students' age level. Okay, now in DAV, our textbook itself will have some Sudoku questions and all that rubrics, Sudokus, and all that can be done in the class so that their level of understanding the question improves. Understood, my dear teachers? Yes, teachers?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay. Now, before I move to the next concept, Now, what is the answer? Simple question. What is the answer for this?
Four, ma'am.
4, ma'am.
4, ma'am.
4, ma'am.
Yes. How did you get it?
Joining
Connect-
point.
Intersecting points.
The connected lines.
Intersecting points. Okay. So when a child says the answer, immediately don't say correct. Ask him as to why the question is correct or the answer is correct. Okay, teachers.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay. Now, regarding the question paper we have done, we have how we are going to evaluate the students' progress and all that we have seen. Now, the next one is very, very important slide that I'm going to share hereafter. Okay. So in DAV, a course of study will be given class-wise to the teachers, where what you're going to teach month-wise, week-wise, everything will be given. You have to stick on to that and continue your teaching. Okay. Now the course of study will also give you term-wise portions and weightage. Now here, periodic test 1, here term 1 we have only periodic test 1 and term 1 exam. Okay. Whereas in term 2 we have periodic test 2, periodic test 3 and the term end exam or term 2 exam. Okay. So now here, when you are a paper setter, my dear teachers, you need to follow this. The weightage of marks that you're taking. For example, it's large numbers, you have to take only for 18 marks. If it's addition problem, addition, subtraction, profit and loss, allotted marks is 16. So you should take only questions for 16 marks. Accordingly, multiplication and division 16. So the total for periodic test generally 1 we conduct only for 50 marks, whereas for periodic test 2 and 3 we conduct for 80 marks. Okay. So here when you are a paper setter, you have to follow this weightage only. Okay. Now, same way here, term 1 exam, here we have these concepts, 80 marks. Okay, teachers. Now, the weightage given for factors and multiples is 20. Yes. Now, you have to stick on to the questions and you have to select only for 20 marks. Your question paper, the factors and multiple questions should work out only for 20 marks. Okay. Now, when I move to periodic test 2, it is 80 marks question here also. Now, term 2 question we have for 80 marks. Now here, did you see everywhere periodic term 1 exam is over, right? 30% of term 1 questions will be taken for term 2 also. Okay, so all this will be mentioned in your course of study. 30% of 80 marks works out to 24 marks. So 24 marks will be from the portions, term 1 portion. So all these factors and multiples are term 1 portion, and addition, all these are term 1 portion. So for these chapters, you will take only for 24 marks. The remaining questions, 70%, that is 56 marks will be from your periodic test 2 portion. That is the portions which you have taught after term 1. Okay. Now we move on to periodic test 3. Now before periodic test 3, we have finished term 1 paper. We have finished periodic test 2 also. So here 10%, here 20% will be taken from the previous portion and 70% will be from the PT3 topic. That is after PT2, you would have taught some concepts. Only from that you will question. Okay. And term 2 question paper, it consists of 80 marks where you have term 1 questions and term 2 questions. You cannot take 50-50. Okay. So you will take 30% of the term 1. So 30% works out to 24 marks. So 24 marks, you will take it, you will take from large numbers and factors and multiples. Okay. Now, we will not give you a blueprint. Okay. We will give you the weightage, we'll give you the syllabus and all that. Blueprint is a duty of the paper setter to prepare before she starts preparing a question paper. What do you mean by blueprint, dear teachers? What do you mean by
Weightage of marks for each topics.
weightage of? No, that weightage is already given here. Weightage in factors and multiples is 10.
Blueprint will be the accommodating or including the Bloom's taxonomy into like how many knowledge level, understanding level questions,
Yes,
and
that will be
application
given.
oriented
That will
questions.
be given, but mark-wise allotment. Like for example, you're taking factor, you're given factors and multiples 12 marks. Okay, your blueprint should show how much are you going to allot, how are you going to split the 12 marks. For example, how can I split 12 marks? Can anyone speak out? How can I split the 12 marks? Like I told already,
In the blanks, 5 marks.
Yes, exactly. Objective type, 2 marks, 3 marks, 4 marks, all that, right? So your blueprint should show how many objective type of questions you're taking from factors and multiples, how many 2-mark questions you're taking, how many 3-mark questions you're taking, how many 4-mark questions you're going to take from that particular chapter. Your blueprint. First, you should prepare a blueprint. Did you understand, teachers?
Yes, ma'am.
Teachers, the weightage is given. How are you going to split the 10 marks? How are you going to give this 14 marks? Your term 2. Now 12 marks. Quickly, can anyone tell the split up of 12 marks in factors and multiple chapter? Can anyone speak out how many objective I will take? How many 2 marks? How many 3 marks? How many 4 marks? Can anyone speak out? Okay, now just see here, 12 marks. 12 marks is allotted in term 2 for factors and multiples. Okay, so as a paper setter, what will I do? Definitely, I will test one 4-mark question. Factors and multiple chapter is a very important graded concept, which is there right from 4th standard to 6th standard. Okay, so I will test one LCM or HCF problem. Here I will test some divisibility rule or common factors or HCF. Here I will test one prime numbers, composite numbers, and all that. Here I will test 4 marks, 3 marks, 2 marks. So it works out to 9 marks. Remaining 3 marks, I can make it as objective type of questions. Yes, teachers? Teacher, did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Now, if you want math the following to be fully of factors and multiples, what can I do? I can make this 5 marks as math the following. Yes. So 5 marks, I make it as math the following. 4 marks here. So 9 marks. 3 marks can be objective type of questions. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
So your blueprint should show how you are going to allot the questions, how you're going to allot the question based on the weightage. So when you prepare, how many 1 marks you have taken from all the chapters, how many 2 marks you have taken from all the chapters, how many application sums you have taken from all the chapters. Did you understand, teachers? Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, for this, you need you need this pattern, right, teachers? You need this pattern. So for periodic test 1, PT2, PT3, or 80 marks paper, this is the pattern. The pattern will be given to you all. So you need to stick on to this pattern. If it's 50 marks paper, 12 marks will be 1 mark question. Then you will take 6 2 marks, 6 3 marks, 2 4 mark question and all that. Depending on the discussion that we have done this academic year, you will get the course of study. You need to stick on to this as a paper setter, my dear teachers. That is why I'm going on insisting that paper setter job is very, very important. You need to stick on to this pattern. Same with 80 mark paper that you're going to set, you have to, here it is clearly given. The goals of study will be given to you all. Objective type of questions, 32 marks. Descriptive, 48 marks. Descriptive consists of 2 mark, 3 mark, 4 mark.
4
question.
marks. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so including the application sums, then graph, all that. Did you understand, teachers?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so these are the very, very important thing to remember. Okay, so now, my dear teachers, I have covered about question paper setting. I've covered about do's and don'ts, weightage to be given, all that. Okay, so you have to follow all these things. Okay, and the last part I was talking about is the internal assessment. Okay, internal assessment. Don't think only we are going to judge a child based on the performance in the exam. Don't think only we are going to judge only based on that. Exam marks alone doesn't speak. Okay, what apart from marks is also the internal assessment. Okay, so the last part which I'm going to share is about the internal assessment. Before that, just one math puzzle for you all. Try to solve.
9. Ma'am, 6
9.
plus 9 and then it becomes 15 plus 8
Yes.
and 23 plus 7, 30 plus 6,
Ah,
36 plus
36
5.
50.
5.
50 is the answer.
Yes, and 41 plus 5.
5.
okay, did you get it? I'm adding 9 here.
45
8.
plus 3.
Okay, so then what is the answer here?
50, madam.
50, ma'am.
50, I'm adding 2. Did you understand? Did you get it?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so why do we ask all these questions, conduct puzzles and all that? Our class, mathematics class, should not be very monotonous. Okay, just play with them, give some puzzles, not every day. Of course, as maths teacher, we need to stick on to a syllabus and all that. Definitely at times when you have less portions, or generally see that you also conduct some, ask some questions, puzzles also in the class. The last part is the internal assessment. My dear teachers, 80 marks was your paper. Yes, teachers, did you note down that?
Yes, ma'am.
80 marks is your question paper, right? What about 20 marks? 20 marks is the internal assessment. That is why I was talking to you all yesterday about the difference between the assessment and evaluation. Now we were talking about evaluation, right? What about assessments? 20 marks is a split up. So how do we assess? Of course, we take 5 marks from the exams, okay? The remaining 5 marks, how do I get 5 marks? If it's 50 paper, 50 marks, I reduce it to 5, okay? Now, the remaining thing, in DAV, we also conduct, do some activities in Vedic maths. My dear children, please conduct mental maths questions in your classes. At least pose 1 or 2 questions every day. I'm telling you, practically, they enjoy mental maths. When you just say, children, are you ready for mental maths question? Children will be just alert and they enjoy the mental maths question. So please encourage them, because only in the primary level, we can talk about mental maths. You should improve our mental maths. Only then it will be helpful for them in the long run. Okay, so mental maths, Vedic maths, we allot 5 marks. Then classwork, that is a portfolio. 5 marks is for the classwork. Yesterday I was talking to you all, don't use the word submit your note. Please say tomorrow's assessment. Definitely students will submit the note. Okay, so 5 marks is allotted for the classwork. Now, lab activity. Subject enrichment activity is like I start factors. You can tell them to bring the buttons or beads. Okay. You tell them to form groups and introduce the topic. Okay. So that activity can be incorporated in the lab note. You can ask the students to bring bindis and you can tell them to paste group wise. How do they form groups? Is it a factor and all that? So this is 5 marks. So lab activity, we will be giving you, your reader will tell you 10 activities per year. So you will divide term wise. So internal assessment, definitely 20 marks. I think the child can score. Can you teachers, can you speak out this 20 marks if the child is not scoring? Who's responsible for that?
Teachers.
Definitely we teachers. You cannot deny this 5 marks. You cannot say, you did not submit, I'm not giving 5 marks. Yes, teacher, do you agree?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, it is up to you to motivate the child, make him submit regularly. Talk about the presentation. My dear teachers, please talk about the presentation also. Not only submission, presentation. Here we have the split up. Presentation 2 marks, regularity 2 marks, how regularly the child submits, and maintenance of the classwork. 5 marks are allotted for the maintenance of the classwork. That is very, very important. Understood, teachers? Talk about the, so you tell them, tomorrow you have your submission. I hope all will get 5 marks. Okay? So classwork 5 marks and lab activities. Activities, whatever you do, see the child does it in his own creative way. Classwork, you can insist some rules. But lab activity, I would suggest don't impose any rules. Tell them to do something creatively. For example, you're introducing time chapter in class 3 or class 4. Tell them you're doing an activity. Okay, you're going to draw a clock. Simple, but use the word, you are going to draw a creative clock. You just see how the children will draw beautiful creative clocks with the lion's face, one bullet, and the bullet that speedometer is a clock. So many creative ways they will do. Did you understand, teachers? So lab activity, it is their own creativity. Okay, so same way, term 2 also 20 marks. So PT2, best of PT2, the child would have scored 50 out of 80, and PT3, the child would have scored 40 out of 80. So what you will do, you will take the best out of 2, reduce it to 5, okay, and then remaining activities. 5 marks for assessment of classwork, activity, and then this mental maths. Provide some pages, leave some pages for the mental maths that you can do it in the class. You give some questions. Tell them not to do any steps. Tell them to write down the answers. Okay? Did you understand, teachers? So 80 marks is your question paper. 20 marks is your internal assessment. Did you understand, my dear teachers? Yes?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So now I'm just revising. So we just saw what is a question paper, then features of a good question paper. Okay. Then these are the features. Then we move on to the attributes of the good design of the question paper. Then points, very important do's and don'ts. Though I shared only 4 here, I have just read out many points. I hope you all would have noted. Right, teachers? Have you all noted?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am. We have
Errors,
noted.
I also shared about the errors in the question paper. As teachers, let us omit all these errors. Let us not do any errors in the question paper. This is the pattern of the question paper. And then how do we progress, students progress, not only by examination, every day also we can evaluate the students' progress. Then very important part as a question paper setter, you need to stick on to the weightage given, allotment of marks, okay, and question paper pattern. Understood, teachers? And apart from that, I also shared about the blueprint, which you have to prepare as a question paper setter. And marking scheme, I also told you that marking scheme, better it is done manually, and the internal assessment. My dear teachers, I would request, we are dealing with the students. I think this you should remember. Each and every teacher should remember this. Each and Shanmuga Priya ma'am, just mute your audio, please. Now, each and every student learns and succeeds, but not on the same day, not at the same time. Will you agree, teachers? Every student learns and succeeds.
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
At
ma'am.
the same time, not on the same day. Yes, each child differs in their grasping power and all that. So as teachers, we should understand this. We should make them love our subject maths. As I told you yesterday, let us help the teachers, let us help the students to look beyond textbooks. Okay, let us help the students to compete outside world. Let us help the students to become Google Pichai and Microsoft Satya Nadella. Yes, teacher, do you all agree?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, teachers, I hope you were empowered with this session.